Streaming. Let's see.
Holy shit, this pickaxe is fast. If I say things that are completely unrelated to anything, it's because I'm also
Oh,
playing Minecraft
no,
at the
that's
same time.
of course fantastic.
I'm always playing something whenever I'm on a stream. It helps me
I know. All
be
right.
a little more natural at talking.
You know what? On that note, I
Oh.
might as well fucking post this to Twitter. Why
I
not?
just, I just looked at the picture again.
Yes.
I can't fucking stop. I can't stop being a little giggly bitch. Oh. He's... it's...
You know, just in case something bad pops up on Twitter, I'm gonna shrink that screen down.
Just minimize that real quick.
Yep. I have to be careful in case what e-girl somebody is following because I was like,
Yeah. What do you mean Twitter? Don't you mean X?
So, I mean, in the search bar, it shows up as Twitter.
It still fucking does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's a reason for that because people wouldn't bother showing up for this crap otherwise.
Yeah, fair point.
Indeed. You know what? I'm going to double check to make sure that our audio is actually coming through because I'd hate to be talking into the ether right now.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Talking to a brick wall.
Let's see.
Turns out I never existed. I'm just a figment, man.
Nope, we're good. All right, fantastic. All right,
Great.
so my thoughts on this. I forget the girl's name. I know it's public knowledge. I'm gonna go with Dutch Mantel's hot take on this. That's the Weasley way. Cite somebody else first before you put your foot in your mouth. Recently,
No, it's blame someone else.
recently, and I'm gonna bring it back around to me. I've worked at a place for 10 years that I recently stopped working at. You have to know where. How do I put this? Where you've had enough to you say when, right? Like I'm only going to be here until this is my ceiling. This is the maximum amount of bullshit I'm going to take out of a place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Now, for me, and ironically enough, in the most vaguest of senses, there is something vaguely related. So when I got to work, the pipes had ruptured to the guard check I was at. I was wondering what the smell was. I was wondering why the site supervisor was sitting in their car, and they start screaming and yelling at me. They're very upset because the bathroom is ruptured, and I let them finish, and I said, "Hey, look, is this my fault?" No. Oh, thank God. They're like, "Yeah, you're going to either have to sit here in the mess or out in your car and freeze." And I sat there and said, "Watch this." I called up field, I explained my situation, and I went home. And that ended a 10-year fucking 10-year adventure, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god.
So when we talk about this girl who's like, and it's not that I don't have any empathy. I understand. Like, how do I put this? I don't know when the next job's coming. And I'm sure that's what she was thinking. Oh, Vince McMahon could totally sabotage me. Oh, and you know what? That's possible. I'm not going to put it past it. But you have to sit there and make up your mind whether you're going to walk off that job. And for me, it was a job smelling like shit. This young lady, apparently, let Vince McMahon drop a deuce on her. And, went back to work allegedly.
Oh my god, that's what it is? Holy shit.
Well, there's a lot of allegations, and there's a YouTube channel that goes by the name Penguins, and he's like, all these knuckle draggers, of course they're... I'm like, hey, look, pal, as far as I see, it's not that I feel that Vince McMahon shouldn't be in trouble right now. Let's get that out of the fucking way right now. Like, holy shit. Yeah, no. But here's why I have even less. Like, imagine, for instance, that you're a young actor, and you were working for Harvey Weinstein. You wouldn't have known who the fuck that was really before, the shit happened, right?
I'm a big Tarantino fan, so
You might have heard the name. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I saw the name before fucking Django, but the thing is, I wouldn't have known who the fuck that was. Not beforehand.
Yeah.
So if something would have blown up with that, I would have shrugged my shoulders and been like, the most unsympathetic thing I would have been like, oh look, somebody in Hollywood took advantage of somebody else. But that would have been, eh. I wouldn't have known the name Jeffrey Epstein before any of that shit happened.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that one either.
But the thing is, and let's go with this. You knew who Vince McMahon was, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. you totally did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a lot harder to be sympathetic when people were like, this is public. Yeah, just making sure. I don't see for the life of me how she supposedly he got her tickets, so I'm assuming, and I could be wrong. Feel free to anybody could stop me. If she was a fan of this product and she had seen Vince McMahon, even I know he's probably hammed up a bit, or maybe not. In this case, it's harder to tell. When your boss asks you to do weirder and weirder things, there has to be I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I think we've all kind of. I think everyone. All
not this girl. Not this girl.
Well, yeah. Apparently not her, but like.
Yeah,
like,
and
I feel like we can all kind of empathize with that idea of being like, hey, this is the fucking limit.
Yeah.
That for me, that was when I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's this place in Georgia called Ackworth, and it's not the greatest place, and it's just. I was working for Chuck E. Cheese, and my manager was like, hey, can you go to Ackworth and check on one of our other stores? And I was like, I am a cashier here. I'm not fucking going to Ackworth to check on that fucking place. And they were like, well, if you don't, you're fired. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, right.
And then I went home. And
yeah.
I feel like we can all kind of empathize with that situation, whether it's been like, it doesn't even need to be like an employer. It could be like, just anybody who, is telling you what the fuck to do.
Here's my pro and con on her. And I know that this is going to come off like a parent saying this remark because I've heard this discussion from up above. Why didn't you look for the next job while you're on this one? And I know the answer to that one because I'm tired after work and I don't want to. I can't.
Exactly.
I got off work, went to bed, fuck off. The last thing I want to do when I get off work is fill out a job application. But if you hate that job enough, you do it.
Writing a fucking cover letter is what kept me working at that job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have to write a cover letter, and I'll just clock in another week, see how I feel next Sunday.
And on top of that, they're like, I feel so bad for her. Now, while he did rip her off, we could get into the legality in a split second. We will. She did get $1 million. So we could play the poorest little millionaire there ever was.
Yeah.
And I'd like to point out for any of the people who watch my channel normally, I know how people in certain fandoms acted about girls getting $5,000 for GoFundMe's. Let's just run that through a mathematical fucking thing here. How many times does $5,000 go into $1 million?
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot.
At least 100? No, 200, right?
Yeah, because 2 times 5 would be...
Yeah, and from what I've heard is that she's scared to leave her house now. She runs her business and she ran it right into the ground.
Yep, 2.
Fucking... Jesus.
It's 200, by the way.
200. Yeah, I guess that, I did have it. I did have it memorized in my head, but I'm doing it on the fly and I didn't write the notes down in front of me.
Fair enough.
Fuck, man. $1 million fucking dollars. And you're acting traumatized about it.
Thing is that that's certainly not legally how it was supposed to go.
Oh no! Let's get to the legality. Since you brought it to legality, we're gonna go there anyways. Fun fact, and this is coming from a paralegal or failed paralegal. I want to clap back at Jim Cornette's stupid ass about the illegal paralegal. There's no such thing, Jimmy, you dumbass. There's literally...
What did he try and say?
He tried saying the illegal paralegal. One, there is no such thing as an illegal paralegal. None. You can hire literally anyone...
I was about to say.
Yeah. Maybe barring age. As far as I know, there's no...
you don't have to be...
as
You
far
don't
as
have to pass the LSAT. You don't have to pass any of that shit.
there's a
I mean,
clap back to what I'm saying right now. There's an ABA
hmm,
approved paralegal, that's American Bar
right.
Associated paralegal, so that you have, but you don't have to hire one of those.
You don't.
No.
That if you want like a good paralegal, maybe a
Oh yeah,
will,
no,
but you know.
and let second disclaimer from the failed paralegal. That's only in Illinois, as far as I know. So it
Yeah,
might be
I think
completely different.
it's
Yeah, it could be completely different to all 49 other different states. I know there's slight differences, but yeah. And on top of that, if Vince McMahon were to be a super douche, since that contract, and this is a little fun fact here, I've run this by damn near everybody down Discord. So imagine, hypothetically, theoretically, not that we would ever do this, if I sold you a kilo of Coke, and we had a contract, and I stiffed you, is that contract worth anything?
no,
No, good man. He understands.
nope.
Again, we're not lawyers here, but no.
I'm studying to be one, but
Yeah,
not
but
yet.
that's not a hard one to understand. Contracts to be legally enforceable have to be, well, legal.
Legal.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have a contract for, I don't know, 20 child brides or 200 pounds of coke, or something that just isn't, a bunch of submachine guns or whatever the hell, you have a piece of paper that ain't worth shit.
Yeah. That's the only reason contracts work. If you sign a contract in any other situation,
Yeah.
like what do you like in a illegal situation? What the fuck are you doing?
But
And that's just
here's my question: if he winds up winning the argument, or this whole thing, do you think he could get that first million back?
I mean, here's the deal: is when you have that many millions, it's
No,
like,
no.
man,
Look. I think you missed the whole point here, friendo. He should absolutely have walked away from it. We could go. That's well established. Vince McMahon had walked off fucking TV. He had gotten away with it. The fucking stock had shot up. He had walked off and rode off into the sunset. He had won, but then he came back and this shit resurfaced. As far as it looks like. So we're way past the opportunity of handling it the intelligent way. So let's pretend that Vince McMahon went the full mile and said, "Not only did I win, I want my million back because I am that much of a cunt." um,
so the question is, could he get it back?
yeah, fuck, this is normally again.
Legally.
Yeah, well, legally, this is where if you had access to either Westlaw or Nexus Lexus, you would look up case law based on these things, and you'd find the closest thing you can, and your lawyer would turn around based off that information and be like, according to pursuant such and such, my client, and we're going to try and spin it from there. But are there any instances that... I'm sure there is.
Dude, case law is fucking weird, man. And with the Supreme Court we have now, precedent seems to be becoming less and less, of a precedent. So
You have to have something to start from. You have...
yeah, but
Okay.
let me see if I can find anything. Let me see. If
But
I can
I want to mention the worst part that I heard about Vince McMahon, which I do not condone, that supposedly Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis were screaming no means yes, and they were going at it 110 miles an hour, so to speak. Again, not cool. You deserve to get what you get with that boss. But on the other hand, if she went back to work the next day, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean,
And
again, there's only so much you can take.
feel free to step away from me on this one. But how do I put this?
I mean,
Well,
I
no,
understand that.
no. Hold on this one though.
Yeah.
Fuck, I had it and I lost it. Shit. It was on
I'm still trying to find the case law. I'm stuck on what even to look up for. Like, I guess bribery would, extortion would kind of be.
I guess are funds refundable if the fucking contract is null and void due to...
I think the government takes that money. I think the government might take that money. Maybe. I'm not 100%, but
that won't be her
it
problem
might be
unless she
another-
loses. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Fuck, where was I? I was on the tip of my tongue. I was about to say something about fucking What? Oh yeah, now I know what it was. So people keep saying grooming. Okay. The girl was 21 years old. She had been an adult for 3 years, which means that she could have fought and died for our country 3 years older. Over. Like, she was old enough to get fucking dating Hugh Hefner and then dumped 3 years later. But anyways, I don't. I get the suspicion they would have said, well, she's only 31 if it needed to have been. Like, here's my take off of somebody who's gone after fucking online predators. When people make the remark grooming, I'm not a licensed medical person, but I take it with a grain of salt when someone says grooming, because I'm under the impression that the people who hit on inappropriate people and hit on regular people, that game is exactly the same. From what I've seen from texts. So, the words that Vince McMahon used to pick up this girl is the same shit he probably used to pick up his wife all those years ago. That's my hot take. I don't think that grooming makes it sound like he had this orchestrated, like, Machiavellian file where he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this date, I'm going to do this date. No. The people that I've dealt with have always been very short-sighted and stupid. They're men at the end of the day, and they do what the fuck works. And the problem in Vince McMahon's case, he probably did this to a bunch of adult women who probably went, eh, and hand-waved him away. Until he found somebody who was too dumb and didn't know any better.
Well, there's this idea that's kind of cropping up recently that, like, there's like a level of power imbalance that makes it grooming. That if there's I've seen that.
I guess, but here's the whole rub on this. I've seen plenty of guys in that industry tell Vince McMahon no and walk off. So, yeah. If he were some saintly guy, if this were Bill Cosby, my heart would go out, because I wouldn't expect someone to fucking be on their toes about Bill Cosby.
But it's Vince McMahon.
It's Vince McMahon. If you've watched his show and then Vince asked you to do something weird, even if you haven't read a message board, surely you've seen some kind of hot take on the man that made you go, I don't know about that, Vince. I don't know about that. To quote Lou Albano, I don't know about that, Vinny Jr. Jesus Christ.
So, from my research, the closest thing I can find is some stuff about the Hobbs Act, which does say that that stuff will, after if through coercion or extortion or bribery, but that's public official, it does go back. It does just go into the government.
Okay.
The government's pockets.
So that civil case that she has pending, the government could come in and seize that afterwards, even if she gets it in her fucking finding, potentially.
Yeah, if it was illegally obtained.
Woo!
Yeah. So you went from having $1 million to nothing.
Well, I'd put it to you like this way. Theoretically, I don't know what DA would want to do that in hopes of getting reelected. That probably might not go so good.
That's a whole nother ball game.
He might be on his last term and say fuck it, but
just fuck shit up while I'm out the door.
Yeah. I'll get to this one too. For everybody listening, I was watching a fucking video earlier. I sent it to my peer here, another guy along the way. In one of the X-Men comic books, there's a character named Jazz, not to be confused with the Transformer. They said because his skin color pigment was blue, it counted as a mutation, and it looked like it wasn't an old school X-Men. Like, when I say old school, like this looked like it came from like the woke era. What? What? No, I want to.
Guys, a different color.
Yeah, I'm like, so wait. According to Marvel, according to X-Men, and potentially Disney, I don't. I want to be very careful there. Yeah.
Just incriminate them anyway. Throw them in there.
Yeah.
They own it.
So what you're saying here is that fucking. Are according to Marvel, if this logic holds, does that mean Marvel thinks all albinos are mutants? Just Marvel, not you. I'm asking.
I can't stop laughing.
Is Michael Jackson a mutant? If he were still alive, would he be in the X-Men shit?
Say, right now he's a corpse. But...
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know. That bleaching might still have held up his rig of Vigorigo or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
I only
Vitiligo.
However, Uncle Ruckus explained it as. All right, we're moving along now. Hey, look. I was just baffled at that one. So
that's insane that they. That's actually nuts that they do that without any foresight of being like, maybe that's not a good thing to say.
If it had been an independent comic book, my heart would go out to, okay, you were being experimental, you were being edgy, trying to sell comic books. But Marvel, okay, but let's get on to you. Had a question about our dear Stan Lee. Did he rip off and steal ideas? From what I understand, Jack Kirby did feel that he was either respected or paid enough money, and there was a lot of clapback between the two. But as Jack eventually started working for DC, and I've seen comics where they've done illustrations of people who suspiciously looked a lot like Stan Lee. So there was definitely a lot of butthurt and hatred going back.
And he's getting his skull caved in or something.
No, probably some scummy asshole. This guy who's you ever see fucking was it Law and Order? Any resemblances to anyone living or dead are strictly fucking. Strictly, what do you call it?
Coincidental,
which was bullshit.
Oh yeah, I think they did one where there was literally just a character. They did that whole thing, and then there was a character just going around who was literally just like Charlie Manson. He's like, "Yeah, I got these girls back at my ranch," and it's like, I wonder who this could maybe be, but they said it's nobody, so.
Oh yeah, no,
that's fine.
The famous sports guy that was no way in shape or form O.J. Simpson. No.
No.
Yeah. And let me be clear. I like the show. I'm just being completely honest about that one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like Law and Order too. Me and my dad.
I didn't even know it came back. I was watching some video where the guy was bitching about it, and I was like, it came back in 2020. I'm like, well, fuck me. I gotta go back and check it out.
Is it any good?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
Well, I'll have to check it out too. I do like Law and Order.
Oh, I want to. I'm sure we had one more here before that, but hopefully, if I get off my ass and find the motivation to do this, have you either watched the trailer or wound up catching at fucking the Has Been Hotel fucking series?
Did catch Verbal Ace's whole thing.
What?
If you know what that's all about.
What?
Okay, so you might have heard of this. You just might not know the name of the guy. The
yeah. What was it? The $15,000 or what?
It was $50,000.
50,000. Okay, so I the only things that I've seen are the clips that people have spoofed on Twitter or YouTube.
Yeah, that's all I've seen too, and it does not look. But again, that's from them taking the worst of it just to meme on it. So it's take it with a grain of salt. But I never got into the original pilot. I'm not huge into animation in general, especially indie animation. I saw the Amazing Digital Circus, which was awesome. That was really good, but that's the last thing.
Well, I can't. If it's on
if
it's on Amazon, can we really call it independent anymore?
Yeah. When does it stop being independent? Is the question. A lot of people will say that. They'll be like, "Oh, this is an independent game," and it's like, is it? I think somebody tried to tell me that at some point. This was probably a while ago.
Saying hi in the chat
was indie, and I was like,
Bubba said hi in the chat. I'm hitting him back. I waved IRL, and I realized, well, nobody could see that. The fuck are you doing?
Why are you waving back?
Yeah, no. How do I put this? I've known fairly big fucking animators in the Brony fandom who were paid like a couple $100 to do fucking much longer animations, granted less pornographic.
Yeah.
I know that there's an upscale for doing more specialized adult themed material apparently.
Yeah.
I'm told old boy fucking went bankrupt with that and his wife left him. That's
Yeah,
hysterical.
he couldn't, because that's the thing, is that I was also just like a fan of his, just like passing. I wasn't like huge into him, but like I was a decent fan of him. I thought he's very talented. And then I remember just waking up that morning and seeing it all over, and I was like, because he was talking about how he couldn't pay his animators what they were owed. He was talking like, he's saying that like he had to pay them in like installments or whatever. And then that happened, and I was like, oh god.
So I do have to ask this question, and this is going to be scummy, but if you had to stiff somebody, wouldn't you like rip off the porn artist and your friends? I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Couldn't he have just done a? Couldn't he just done what? I've heard people doing like a PayPal fucking chargeback scheme. He wouldn't have ruined
I've seen
him.
that before.
Well, I've
It's just like, because like either way, because what blackmail does that guy have? He's gonna like, oh, I'll release the thing. He released it anyway.
yeah.
It's like it's over. It's over anyway. If it's over, it's over. I mean, like there is some confusion as to what that's about, like whether it was supposed to be private or whatever, and the guy released it. For there's
I
some
was told the
confusion
guy
on
was
that.
like fucking 15 or 16, the animator.
I did not hear about that.
I'm not the guy to ask. I don't know the name. I
Fair, but if that's true, then that's a big fucking problem. That's even bigger.
Well,
Oh.
let me get to this one. Did he know? Did he ask?
Yeah, that's always the thing. That's always. Yeah. And if the guy's offering his services on the internet and he ends up getting, yeah, I guess that's. I don't want to say it's hit. Well,
I mean,
I struggle to say it's his
like
fault, but it is.
let's put it this way. Fucking nobody really gets punished for that shit. This guy's already had his wife leave him, and he's out $50K. I'm sure he's lost every fucking thing. I mean,
There's not really much more we could take from him.
yeah. if there is more, obviously, you know, you I won't talk anybody into fucking handling it themselves if there is more, but
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know if that's 100% or not, but if that's true, then that's another fucking layer on this whole shit cake that's being made. Oy.
I don't know anybody who is selling fucking adult animation, so
Yeah.
we knew.
Anyway, to answer your question, no, I haven't seen Husband Hotel.
Okay. It wasn't
All that to say.
too much singing, but other than that, it was fine.
Yeah, I think isn't there's some I'm sure there's, because of how incestuous the whole online animation community is. There's probably some people who are working on Brony stuff who's working on that now.
Well, you ever see the Spawn
imagine.
cartoon from back in the day?
Probably, yes.
Well, yeah,
Vaguely.
the same VA. If you've ever seen the latest Mortal Kombat that had Spawn in it, they got
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that VA is actually in Hazbin Hotel.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. As soon as you mention Mortal Kombat, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I remember when he popped up. I'm like, oh my god, they got the real voice actor. Fucking nice.
That's actually pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what? Good for them.
Well, this didn't pan out, but when I heard the voice of Lucifer on Hazbin Hotel, I thought it was Jeff Fisher from American Dad, which it sounded. I'm like, wait, did they make fucking Lucifer a slacker loser?
I was about to say, that guy is so ubiquitous for that role. The role's just named after him. It's like,
Yeah, I looked that up. I was like, is that true? Is his name really fucking Jeff Fisher?
Yeah, no. Every time I saw it in the cast, I was like, what? That's just his name. That's just the guy's name.
I was like, I shouldn't be trusting Wikipedia in the first place, but I guess I'll ask around when I get the chance.
You just, like, it's so funny.
But there's a part in there that's fucking hysterical. Let's put it this way: Lucifer in that is like the ultimate boomer. He's like out of touch and shit. He's into a fight at the fucking end of the final, and you know, because he doesn't like know slang all the way. He's like, I'm going to fuck you, and everybody like raises an eye. His daughter's like, fuck you up. You want to say fuck you up?
I'd say I've got nothing against it. It's just, it just doesn't seem like my cup of tea. I'm not the kind of person who'd sit and watch something.
Well, okay. I'm just saying.
Like the only like me watching the Digital Circus, that was my sister sitting me down and being like, "Hey, you like that book by that guy?"
Well,
Like,
I'll put it to you.
book.
I'll put it to you this way: when I made a shitty little fucking review for fucking Has Been Hotel, Vizzy Pop showed up in the fucking comments. So she's cool.
Yeah.
Couldn't land her for a podcast, but still cool person.
But yeah, that was the fucking thing that was like, it was like, because this is off topic, but it's still on the topic of indie animation, so I'm gonna say it anyway. The Amazing Digital Circus was based with like the creator, I can't remember their name right now, but it'll probably come to me later. Said that it was based off I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream. So my sister grabbed me immediately and was like, "Hey, you need to see this," and I was like, okay, because I don't know. I guess I'm the only person she knows who.
I have no
story.
mouth and have to scream. Isn't it like an H.G. Wells sort of thing or something?
No, it's Harlan Ellison, and
Okay.
I actually have the copy of the book sitting on my desk right now. He's staring at me. It's terrifying. Yeah, it's free online. It's like if you're a fast reader, it's like a 20-minute read, and it's really good. So it just if you're looking for anything to read that.
Nice. Shit, did we run out of crap to talk about already? You had something, right?
I could definitely think of something, but the thing it was, so I guess we kind of talked about that was how 100% is this whole thing on Vince McMahon, and apparently it's pretty 100% that he definitely did what they're accusing him of. Is that
well?
Reading that right?
He's still. Did he have sex with her? That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, or just what he's accused of is that.
He's fighting it in court supposedly.
Well, that could still be in a what's it called? What is that defense called? Affirmative defense.
What do you mean?
I mean, affirmative defense is where it's like, yeah, I did do it, but I have an excuse for why I did it, which can still net you a favorable decision.
Yeah, it's potentially that, but for people who know Vince McMahon, the part that leaps out at it, Vince McMahon's noted for only paying partial of a contract and then like stiffing the people the rest. That's an old trope. That's an old Vince McMahonism. He did that to Stu Hart for fucking, I forgot, what was it, Stampede Wrestling or some shit like that. Whatever his whole.
Is that I don't know the name, but is that any relation to Owen Hart?
That is the Hart family. Owen, Anvil, Davey Boy. Yeah, there's a long line of Harts.
Yeah, damn, that whole Owen Hart thing is, yeesh.
So I'll admit it. When I was much younger, I was a morbid person when I heard about it online. I'm not saying I ordered the pay-per-view and stayed up late on a school night because I'm morbid, which they did not show.
Yeah, no. It's lost media now. People are looking for that shit.
Nah, you know what? I'm glad it wasn't on there. That'd have been horrifying. That would have probably stuck with me.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is another thing I guess I can talk about because otherwise we've run out of things to talk about. Is most sources about the JFK assassination list not the Zapruder film but the second film taken as lost media. That's incorrect. That's like patently false. You know how I know it's false?
Go ahead.
Is I have a copy of it screen recorded on my phone. Of him being of the view of the grassy knoll. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's lost media. We don't know what happened there," and it's like, no, that's not right.
Well,
I mean, you just haven't looked for it.
Yeah, the thing I heard about that is from the movie. They changed how long it took to get off the 3 shots, which in the movie it's impossible, but the extra seconds make it viable.
Yeah, in real life, well, he was a sniper, Lee Harvey Oswald. He was a sniper, but most people said he was a below average sniper. They didn't say he was an incredible marksman. And then there's that whole magic bullet thing, which is, you know, if you've ever seen the whole fucking thing, Mythbusters did it. I think a bunch of other things have done it. Listen, I'll say this much: Warren Commission was founded by LBJ, so you know you're not going to get the right answer out of that.
I do like to bring that up when everyone's like, "Well, we've never had anybody corrupt in office." You really? The liberals at the time didn't even feel that way about LBJ.
God, yeah. They were like, this
And
is
those are the
guy
same
who's
liberals that
president.
grew up to be the adults of today. What are you on about?
Yeah, oy.
Mm.
Jesus. I
Did
said,
you?
but
Oh,
anyways,
on that note, did you catch that one? The one chick with the blonde hair who screwed up on a hot mic and said, "Start another motherfucking war."
I didn't. What is this about?
Oh, fucking.
Explain further.
So there's this one girl, I think it was on CNBC or whatever. African American blonde hair, and it goes to cut away, and she didn't realize her mic was on, and when Joe Budden's talking about like supporting her allies, she lets out, "Start another motherfucking war."
Oh my God. Jesus.
And this was on a liberal fucking goddamn news media show.
Oh God.
We do have a lot of plates in the air, is what I'll say. We sure have a lot of shit going on where maybe we do.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I've always been of the opinion that a lot of Europeans are very, very, very ungrateful for Americans' help. So let's just pull out. It's fine.
To be fair,
To be fair,
we've been ungrateful before in the past.
I would. France. I mean, I wouldn't even know what we did to them after they helped us in the American Revolution.
Yeah, I was about to say. That's how I like to. That's why I like to remind people. I'm like, well, the Ukrainians will love us forever. I'm like, sure, we'll love them about as much as we love France.
Yeah, it was just immediately like Marquis de Lafayette was just like, "Let me help you fucking do this. Are you gonna help us?" And then Congress was just like,
Well, if you're really pro-American, the clapback is what? We were so nice that we bought fucking the Louisiana Purchase. This is such a
"Who
huge.
bought Louisiana from?"
Yeah, we doubled the size of America.
Do you know how much
As a
money he
favor.
got for that?
Yeah, I've heard the clapback on that too. Is that there was a very very loose fucking couple of forts that were very indefensible that could have easily been taken, but it would have been probably I guess more dodgy to have done it that way.
It would have been a little less indefensible if Thomas Jefferson was just like, "Hey, give us your." Well, they did that. Well, that's the thing is nobody gave a shit about the First Nations tribes. People gave a shit about France because it imported and exported.
Well, they wouldn't have cared at the time. Those would have been Napoleon's fucking part of France. If we would have stole those,
fair.
if anything else, and we would have been like, "Hey, England, throw us a paycheck for this." we're creating a diversion, if anything else.
Yeah. Thank you, John Adams, for making England immediately a friend after we just broke away from them. He was the ambassador, so he had to basically after the American Revolution, he had to go over there and just be like, "Hey, we cool?"
And then there was the second fucking war of independence.
Yeah. King George was like, "Yeah,
They torched the White House that time, didn't they?
yeah, they did."
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because at the time also,
the Canadians still celebrate that.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thanks, dicks. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Pull out of Canada when I'm president. Really show those-
Imagine if America celebrated fucking Hiroshima and Nagasaki every year. Jesus
Everyone
Christ.
just going through the streets. I remember my rabbi telling me, so he was like, every single person who worked on the Manhattan Project was Jewish, and I'm like, is this a win for us, or are we?
Well,
is this?
from what I heard is that I've always heard the lore or the myth that fucking Albert Einstein helped contribute to that, and part of the reason that the Nazis never went that way is because because of the Jewish ties that they specifically went for it. So yes. Is it something you should be proud of? Quietly.
It was like, mein Führer, we have created this bomb, and they're like, and Hitler was like, that's fucking Jew magic, dude. I don't want that shit. We're going back to strapping monkeys to V2s, dude. This is work out.
Friendly reminder to the people listening: my co-host is Ashkenazi.
Yes.
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 Indeed. Just in case before people start to raise up. Yes.
Yeah. Listen, I'm half and half. I can get away with a lot of stuff.
Half counts. I'll tell you from experience.
No, trust me, half counts. I wouldn't go up to listen, I'm not gonna go up to a white guy and be like, hey, or I guess they don't. Do white people consider Jews white? Is that Ashkenazi Jews? Yeah. So I'm not gonna go up to a white guy and be like, hey, those blacks, am I right? They're gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing talking to me?
Jesus.
Like, that's always been the thing. Is like, I was always a little self conscious about it. I was like, what if I'm not considered fully black? And like someone told me, they were like, if you go to a KKK rally and come out with all your limbs, then sure, you're
Well,
you're whatever.
I'll put it to you this way about fucking whether I count for that. Are you prepared to fucking stand your ground and fucking, if someone says you don't count, are you prepared to fucking show them that you do?
Yeah.
Because if your answer is yes, then yes.
Yeah.
We can talk about Shitland, but I'm not going to be able to be there to help you when it goes wrong. So,
yeah. It's...
the moral high ground doesn't help an ass kicking. I swear to you, it doesn't.
oh god, dude, it so fucking does. Because listen, like that's just been my experience with this whole thing. Is like with like the Israel-Palestine thing, which I don't know if we want to get into that or into that talking point, but I'll just say generally is standing there right.
Well, I'll give you my hot take on that already. I don't think that we have the money and the funding to back that. It has nothing to do with morality or what have you. We have a massive ballooning deficit that is growing day by day. I understand that there are I'm Republicans, and we definitely lean that way, but
neocon. I'm kidding. I like neocons. I'm a neocon.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I can't believe in neocon. I was just.
It'd be like turning to your son, going, "Could I have a new fucking platinum inch fucking screen?" I'm like, "We don't have money, son." But Dad, no, we don't have any money.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I think that's completely fair. It's not as much as I love my homeland. It's not America, so why should America be?
Yeah, and if your response is, can't we have any of the leftovers you weren't using? If you could pluck them off the Ukrainians. That's not my fault.
Ukrainians? That reminds me of, I'm trying to think, someone was talking about Afghanistan, and they called them Afghanistanannies.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like when I found out that was really a country from Borat. Was it Kazakhstan or?
I'm trying to think. Oh god, it's been a while since I've seen Borat. It's probably Kazakhstan.
I never finished it.
Fair. I mean, it's not. I think it's funny, but it's like also like.
It's a rough go.
You gotta be in the mood for it, and if you're not, it can be.
It's not because I was easily triggered; it just wasn't my bag.
Yeah, that's the thing. And as a Jewish person, it can be annoying for people to come up to be like,
is a Jewish person a Persian Jew?
A Persian Jew is also known as somebody who is dead because they are in Iraq or Iran.
Well, again, not my book. Feel free to fucking slap me down on this. Isn't there a tithe that they're allowed to pay and be in there or something like that?
It's the it's got a funny name. It's the jizya. It's if you pay taxes, the government will let you stay there. Yeah. You have to pay a Jew tax. But it doesn't give you any like protection. Like,
so it's like
you're not a citizen.
So it's like being in jail for the wrong shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like your neighbor can come and crystal knock you into the fucking face, and then they'll just be like, okay, cool, we got the money we needed from them.
Well, I found this out recently, and again, you're probably more better to speak on this since it was just a random history channel and I only heard it from one source. I didn't realize that there was a thriving culture in the Ottoman Empire for Jews. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, they were the nicest out of all this.
I was waiting for you to call bullshit on that. I was like, I don't know, so I don't want to start talking out my ass.
That reminds me of something else, but that's true. But you want to know something fun? This is a fun little thing. that I always like telling to people. Do you want to know who owns the 1% of property and finance and everything in Israel?
Go ahead.
Christians.
Ah! Turnabout's fair play. Turnabout's fair play.
It's so funny that, like,
Well, you know what
go to Israel.
you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the Critic fucking scene. If you've ever seen that cartoon with John Lovitz, where they go,
I love the Critic.
yeah, where he goes to the Middle East and all the fucking cabbies in the Middle East are New Yorkers. It's not based off of any kind of racist thing. It's just to make life difficult. So that's why. Yeah, it's just as a fuck you. that's my
Yeah.
that's my head canon. Yeah, go ahead.
I've had people who are from Israel, and they'd be like, every time I try to get a loan, I have to go to a Christian to get it, and I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Well, it's not
funny.
banned to do fucking banking anymore, guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, hey man, you're lucky. You could be like a carpenter or something. I hear they like Jewish carpenters.
So on that note, I guess I would have brought this up the last time I was having a discussion with some atheists trying to trigger me about Has Been Hotel, and I was like, I don't mind watching things that are supposedly set to piss me off. Like, for example, I saw I think the Last Temptation of Christ, which is supposed to be this super edgy fucking. Was it Oliver Stone? I think.
Wasn't this the one by Scorsese? Was that?
Might have been, yeah.
That was him, I think.
Yeah, it was definitely off the beaten path. It's in the beginning of at the beginning of the fucking movie, he's like making crucifixes to fucking like silence other gods' fucking prophets and shit. So because the fucking voices in his head are driving him fucking insane, and I'm like, and that's like, it only gets worse from there.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like if I was. Not me, but if someone was a I guess that's not a good.
Well, Satan is good in that movie. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, compare it to, like, have you ever seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I think we've talked about this.
I've not seen it yet. For anyone listening in here, I'd like to talk on that because I remember Bruce Lee's family got super pissy about, he beats up Bruce Lee. Gonna go off of Jim Cornette's impersonation, where he says that the martial artist in there that allegedly beat up Bruce Lee's name was Judo Gene LaBelle, and he's like, the reason why I don't believe this is that Judo Gene LaBelle had two things he was really good at: beating the shit out of people and bragging about beating the shit out of people. And if he would have beat up Bruce Lee, I would have heard about it. There's no way he would have kept quiet about that.
Well, okay, then yeah, I guess people did get pissed at the historical inaccuracies in that movie. There's a ton of them, but that's not the fucking point. The point is not to say this happened. If you watch the movie,
I want to get to that and add on why this is really insulting. The martial artist that Judo Gene LaBelle beat up is Steven Seagal, and if I was Bruce Lee's line, I would be hella pissed off. You were conflating that asshole with Bruce Lee.
Yeah, that's a bigger issue.
Yes.
That's even. Holy shit! This is a big ravine. I almost died. Oh no. Sorry.
I guess for anyone listening in, imagine, like, someone mistook fucking Martin Luther King for Jesse Jackson. You know what? I stand behind that comparison. Mwah, chef's kiss. I think I'm right on the money there.
Jesus H.
I'm totally cool calling Jesse Jackson the Steven Seagal of the Black Rights Movement if Martin Luther King is Bruce Lee.
I think that's fair. Listen. I even have problems with.
You remember what he did on the news, don't you?
With Malcolm X.
No, do you remember what Jesse Jackson did?
He did a couple things.
So when fucking Obama was running for president, you could still find this clip where he's like, I like to cut hip.
Yeah.
They caught that on a live mic. You know what I think? I bet the mic was off, and the guy in the back's like, turn it on.
Just see what happens.
Yeah, you know what? Let's see if he fucking shoots his foot off. Oh, baby, we got him.
We got him. Yeah, but I mean, I've always had people are always like, "Oh yeah, Malcolm X," and I'm like, no, because I don't believe in segregation in either capacity.
Well, he eventually came around.
Yeah, and then
they shot him.
What is it? Nation of Islam shot him in the face. Yeah, I was about to say. Depending on who you ask, if there's somebody who likes the Nation of Islam, it was the FBI. If there's someone who does not like the Nation of Islam, it was the Nation of Islam.
I didn't find this out. I was working at a warehouse, and there was different Muslim people I was working with, and this just randomly came up. I forgot who started the conversation. Maybe it was me. Feel free to blame me. I was like, so all Muslims get along together, barring the Sunni Shiite thing, right? Yeah, just simplify. Yeah, and my thought was, so if your daughter brings home a black guy and he's Islam, is that okay? They're like, no, no, that is not okay.
No.
All right.
I was like, oh, this guy's I remember I had a Muslim friend, and I was like, oh, this guy says he's a Quranist. Does that mean he's like one of you guys? And he's like, no. No, he is. They say he's kufir. He is not a believer. And I was like, what? He reads the Quran like you guys do, and he's like,
not like us.
It's just easier to say no. Because that's what I get from Christians when I'm like, can you explain the difference between a Methodist and a Baptist? And they're like, well, here's the schism, and I'm like, that's not what I asked. And they're like, no, it's just easier if you just focus on this.
I could give you the Warhammer answer. It takes this much longer to burn him, but anyways. It's a joke, people. I've never burnt anyone alive that you could prove. Anyways, moving on.
That's true.
Oh, jeez. I don't hate Baptists. There's a fucking... You ever read the story Candide?
Probably not. If it doesn't ring a bell.
It takes the piss out of fucking, like... What's the... Like the take on optimism and shit like that. It's a really dry as balls fucking book, but by God, they blow the Baptist in that fucking series. And that's how I picture them after that. It's projected as really like selfless and what have you. And since I don't really deal with a lot of Baptists, it's just how I picture them now. So
listen, Southern.
It's the ultimate PR job, or it's propaganda done to like benefit, I guess.
I mean, I deal with a lot of Southern Baptists because I live in the South, and there's a Southern Baptist on every fucking block here.
Well, I'd like to apologize if you had to talk to him over all that tambourine thumping. Sorry, kidding. Family Guy joke, people. Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. They're crazy. They're a little crazy. They can be crazy. I won't say I haven't met every single one, so I'm not gonna say.
But we all have our sections, fucking, you know.
Yeah.
What is it? The Hasidic? There's a branch for nuts and.
Well, there's the Hasidic Jews, which are just like really Orthodox Jews, and then there's the really really Orthodox Jews, known as the Haredi, which don't even like talk to Gentiles.
Well, there was a sect that basically believes that the coming end is sooner at hand, and I was assuming.
Yeah.
There's one of those in every group in there.
Yeah, and that was what the tunnels thing was, is that everybody was just like, this proves that all Jews are trying to do something like this. And I'm like, even if you find a pentagram and 38 dead babies underneath that synagogue, that just means they were crazy. That's all that means, necessarily.
No, they have a bunch of emails going on to all the other symbols. You might have something there, but no. Oh, that was something that came up, speaking of which, about conspiracy theories. For Vince McMahon, he did have some emails with him and Donnie.
Yeah,
that's not going away. That's not going away anytime soon. We don't know where that's going.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I heard that it was like it wasn't just that. It was like a sexual trafficking, like an actual like thing. Like,
well,
you go to Vince McMahon's house.
Well, here's my whole thing on that. When you say sexual trafficking, in my head, for it to be sexually trafficking, you're moving somebody along in a cage against their will versus you better come into work or you're fired. Like, at some point in time, you gotta walk off that job, honey.
Yeah, I mean, but if if the trial court thought it was...
Maybe, okay, I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way. Maybe I'm being pedantic, but like it's like someone sat there and said him showing the porn was revenge porn. I'm like, but he wasn't doing it for revenge. I'm probably being pedantic. He was doing it because he was a dumb fuck. Revenge porn is where you're like, haha, I'm going to release this to show you. You know, I'm going to get even with you.
I'm just saying, it's just, I don't know if the... I'm trying to think of it in like...
You've heard the weird part about with Vince McMahon, that he didn't want anyone to know except for all the people he was telling.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking... nuts to butts that basically he'd be like, hey, check out this thing, but you better not tell anybody.
Hey, look at this! Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, and I that's another knock on her. If she saw him doing this at some point in time, honey, your brain had to click on and going, you know what? This is stupid. Why am I not telling anyone?
This is bordering on complicitness.
Yeah, you could have looked up any
complicity
on any number of fucking things, or I'm never gonna tell someone to go talk to feminists, but maybe she should have. God damn, maybe a little bit.
just to get some perspective.
Yeah, get a second opinion
just for a little bit.
Here I got a question for you since we're back on Vince McMahon land. Do you know who Bruce Pritchard is?
No.
Brother Love?
Vaguely. That's gonna be my thing. For
all right, so I'll put it to you this way. He's one of the guys that Vince McMahon recently, or more recently, comparatively speaking, brought back. He originally got fired from the WWF because he brought a firearm there to work. He claimed he put it up in a lockbox and did all the right procedures, and Stephanie McMahon still shit-canned his ass. He proceeded to... He has a podcast which I highly recommend, Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, where he takes the piss out of Vince McMahon, but it's in a more of in a loving way. It's certainly not super duper fucking kid stuff. Like when Bruce is one of the first ones to say, hey, when you see something crazy and stupid online, look straight to the top. That's how it got out there. And he's like, yeah, if you know the Katie Vick storyline, for example.
Yeah.
But for those listening, Vince McMahon green-lighted or pushed through the idea of Kane's dead girlfriend having her brains fucked out on live TV, and that was his idea. And even with his son-in-law going, I don't want to do this. No, thank you, Vince. Please don't. Vince wanted to get it done his way. So, is anyone shocked that Vince McMahon is a degenerate? I'd have been more shocked.
That's one of those things.
I'd have been more shocked if he wasn't.
Turns out he's a great family man. It turns out.
Well, from what I've heard through the rumors is that they suggested that fucking what was it, his son didn't want to work with him because he wasn't knocking that shit off. Which, on one hand, big up on Shane for fucking walking away from that, but you could have gone the extra mile. You could have told.
You could have warned somebody.
Look, I know that's a big ask to turn your father in. Like, it's a big ask. Yeah.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I probably wouldn't turn my dad. As terrible as that sounds, I really like my dad.
I do too. I'm glad I don't have to make that goddamn choice. Jesus.
I was gonna say, I've got too good of a relationship. But he's also just a stand-up guy, so I don't think I'm ever gonna have to.
No.
Hoping.
I don't want to go the whole mile and going well, the guy who recently they attached to it, his name is Johnny Ace, I think. He's like Vince McMahon's like right-hand man over there. Him and Bruce Pritchard. He's the one that sexually assaulted that woman allegedly. They're screaming yes means no. He's trying to say, he's like, I was as much a victim as she was too under Vince McMahon's doctor. And now, as laughable as that is, if she kept going back to work, like, then at some point in time, yes, he stuck around the same reason she did. He wanted that job.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And I'm assuming she wanted that job because she was paid, from what I was told at first, she was hired on $100,000 to be a secretary that probably didn't really do all that much secretarying. And then it was raised to $200,000. Look, man, in this economy, or even that economy back then, that's an awful lot of guy. What's that line from fucking Glory? $5, a lot of money. $15. I would have probably put up with a lot. How did fucking?
I was about to say, I've never been abused sexually, or however, and I've never noticed my employer doing unsavory such deeds. But if I was getting paid that much, maybe.
Well, here I'll get to that too. Over at Allied Universal, my former employee, they seem to hire an awful lot. My specific boss, hi Keith, how you doing? Seem to hire a lot of dumb bimbos. Now I want to be clear, Keith. I'm not saying they were ugly, but any stretch of the imagination, those black girls were beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss. But I know why you hired them, Keith. I know why you hired them. They didn't know shit. And this is coming from me. I'm not going to pretend like I was the hardest working motherfucker. Not by a long shot. There were definitely... Yeah, there were definitely people who were fucking had a look that got hired onto that position because I'm assuming they were easy on the eyes.
Let's just turn this into a hit piece about your boss.
Well,
fucking bring back How Not to Brony, but just to fuck with your boss. That got nothing to do with that. It's just like, does this have anything to do with the Brony community? No.
No. Well, we're not.
This guy.
Yeah, we didn't call it TB, but well, I don't feel like I'm out of line there. I'm not saying that.
No. If everything you're saying is true, then I don't think you are.
No.
You're just calling it how it is. I mean.
Yeah, I've had petty, stupid reasons to walk off post, but this was a pretty easy-going job. I just wasn't gonna fucking either sit in filth or fucking freeze my ass off in my car. I'd have been younger. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say that was the other thing I was gonna say, and that was so weird to me when you were saying that, is that a fucking pipe burst at my fucking school today. And it was weird that you were mentioning pipers because I was like,
well, it's a lot warmer now, and I'll put it to you this way: you're supposed to leave the water running, and I was like, when I heard about that, I was like, did I forget to do it? She's like, no, it's not your fault, and I was like, okay, because I was still gonna walk off post because it smelled.
I mean, I'm not getting yelled at.
The thing is, well, yeah, here's the whole rub about it. One, I didn't care because she was also easy on the eyes. So if you're gonna yell at me, at least you know.
At least have the common decency.
I could listen, but not listen, if you know what I mean.
Anyway. I see.
Yeah. I didn't clap back on her. I didn't go off on anyone that called me up to confirm because, again, my main boss, who I was hoping would call up, I even told the guy who was above him who called and said, hey, look, man, do you blame me? He's like, no, it is what it is, but you did leave post. I was like, technically, I didn't log on. I didn't call in. I didn't.
As far as anyone knows, you weren't there in the first place.
Yeah, I let him know. I'm like, I'm not staying here. It'd have been one thing if I'd have clocked in and left and tried to take a paycheck for the day, which I did not do. I've definitely heard about people. I've heard about people who specifically sign into post and then leave, come back, and then sign out. That's some balls.
24 hours?
That's
24 hours of pay. Wow.
It's very fraudulent.
That is 100% fraud.
And unless you are really getting the business from your boss, I don't stand behind that. I'm not to say that there were a lot of times where I got called in on fucking no sleep that you're supposed to show up, and here's the whole thing. I showed up. That's my fault. I was too dumb and tired, exhausted, and I was like, I'm keeping this job. It's too good to let go. But I didn't. I had people sick in the house, and I didn't want to get myself sick and be like, nah, not down.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's just, oh god, it's just sitting next to fucking any kind of septic.
Well, yeah, and I'm willing to bet in her head she's like, when am I going to get another job where I'm paid either $100,000 or $200,000 a year where I could play solitaire on my fucking computer? And let's be honest. That's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
I don't believe for a second if she really didn't have any job experience whatsoever that she was really filling out computer forms. Fuck off. Fuck off. Yeah. How many hours of WoW did you clock in while you were online, bitch? And I'm one to talk. I've definitely doubled my hours at fucking Civ 6 while I was at work, buddy. Well, unless it was second shift, a little bit faster. But during the night, yeah, no, absolutely. I just don't see it, and that's the whole idea. Oh, my parents are sick, and I was like, I've heard that spiel before. I've been told by my folks to use it. Do I have any doubt that they passed away? Yes. Here's the whole rub. If you just want to assume the absolute worst in Vince McMahon, why am I giving her the absolute benefit of the doubt? Miss 100, 200, and then $1 million woman. Jesus.
Oy. Yeah, I mean,
I gotta go with fucking, what was it, who's that one black comedian who's like a lightning rod for fucking always getting himself in trouble?
Dave Chappelle.
Yes, you got it right on the first guess. Where he's like,
Yep.
you know, for all that, he's like, what was it, for $1 million, I'll let R. Kelly pee on me.
Yeah.
It's washing
I
right
got
off.
that.
Yeah. Now am I prepared to go down the Hershey Highway with Vince for $1 million? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
There was certainly a take on there from Dutch Mantel. Dutch was fucking knocking it out of the park. He's like, here's the part I bet nobody talked about. He did this in front of a referee. And Vince had the balls to get up and go take a shower. He had the balls to go take a shower. Why are you? Shouldn't she be getting up? She laid there in that stuff. And imagine this. You're the other guy watching this show. Shouldn't you be able to go, hey, I didn't sign up for this, Vince. I didn't want to watch that, you rude motherfucker.
He's taking a shower after taking a shit on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. He's like, after this, just, man, I need a shower.
And he could have had the least of common decency to let her go first. Fuck, man. You ignoramus.
That's the real crime here, I think. Oh, Jesus H. Oh. But I did get to see Dave Chappelle in Atlanta, and that was a great show. And you know who opened for him?
Who? Chris
Kevin
Rock?
Hart.
Oh, yeah. No, I've heard some stuff about Kevin Hart from different comedians and what have you, but he's a funny guy from what I've seen.
Yeah, I got to see Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle in the same night. I'm never complaining about anything again.
David Chappelle made a remark where somebody ran up on stage, tackled him down, and ran off or something like that. Chris Rock came up on stage and said, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
Was that fuck was his damn name? Was that what's the Fresh Prince's name? Yeah, was that Will Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, now you got jokes. Oh, now you got jokes. Jeez.
Oh, Jesus. Dave Chappelle's awesome. It was a great show. Oh, my God. Jeez. Oh, man. It's...
It's a shame that Vince McMahon has to go out this way. It's a damn shame, as Huey Freeman would say. But it is what it is. Just think, he could have been out the door and he could have rode off into the sunset and quietly just fucking paid off that extra $2 million, and maybe he wouldn't have heard about this until after he was dead. Maybe he could have pulled a Jimmy Savile.
Oh,
you got that one, did you?
Yeah.
40 years.
It's always gross. It's always gross to hear about Jimmy Savile.
Well, here's the thing. I saw somebody in one of the documentaries on fucking, what was it, Netflix, and I got to give the British guy who was talking about him credit, because he's like, I forgot, and he's like, I'm not calling him great, but how good he was, like when he could talk, that he had a rhythm and flow. I get annoyed when people try and sit there and say, oh, he was never good. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Yes, all these,
that's the thing.
Every musician who's ever done anything wrong, it's retroactively, oh, I never saw. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you this much. I love Fat Albert. I think Fat Albert is still a great show for kids. It just turns out the guy behind it was a fucking monster. I think he was good.
I could do worse.
Children's
Wait, no,
entertainment.
hold it. You hit a double whammy with that one. You know who did the animation, right?
Filmation, right?
John Cricklefaust from fucking Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, what? Fucking John Belushi? Oh yeah, he did work for Phil. Oh no! Oh god!
I did that. Oddly enough, I used to hang out.
Shit.
I used to hang out with this alt writer fucking named Rockamoo, who fucking, when I pointed out to him, he's like, "Just shut up." I'm like, "What? You're the one who said you like fucking Bill Cosby or Fat Albert."
Oh shit! I forgot.
Yeah,
I remember hearing him.
That movie is that show is doubly cursed. I hate to tell you that.
Oh god, I did like the show though, and I still think it's alright. I
remember vaguely very little.
Didn't rape anybody.
Well, there's a Scared Straight episode.
Yeah.
I only know that because of YouTube.
Yeah. Oh god, that episode's fucked up too.
Yeah.
It's fucked up what they just said. They're just like, give me the fat one. He'll keep me warm and shady.
Jesus.
It's like, oh, And then like Bill's at the beginning, he's like, "This episode's got some scary language. Careful." It's just like, thanks, Bill. Nothing you could have said would fucking protect me from that.
I did find it a little annoying, even though I'm sure it's pretentious, that all the people like the Dave Meltzers of the world came out of the woodwork and like, I knew it all along. You're just butthurt because you ruined your fucking sport. Which, to be fair, same. But anyways, and yeah. It's like fucking finding out like that guy from Blizzard got, is it the CD bullshit?
Yeah.
I know why I really want him to go down because he sucks. But
Yeah. It was Blizzard Activision too, wasn't it?
Yeah, what's his damn name? I can't think of it right now.
I blame him for ruining Call of Duty.
Bobby Kotick.
That's why he should be.
And Blizzard.
That's why he should be in jail.
Yeah, and Diablo.
He ruined my boomer shooter. Kill him.
Holy shit. The thoughts and opinions of some of the co-hosts who represent the fucking show. He's like, oh, that's where you draw the line, is it? I just don't want to get kicked off of YouTube.
Where you draw the line is where he ruined my boomer shooter.
I gotta go with fucking the JD delay fucking get out of jail free card instead of killing. He says fucking wood chipper so he doesn't get kicked off of YouTube.
Oh, fair. Oh god. Yeah. Sorry for getting. Sorry, if something happens because of that.
No, it's fine.
For the death of a CEO. I mean, he's not. Isn't he ousted? Did he get ousted yet?
I haven't kept up with that, or maybe that's just one of those things that fell through the cracks and nobody paid attention anymore. Maybe he still is there. Don't tell me I have to throw on Jim Sterling to fucking find out. Fuck.
At that point, just remain ignorant. It's easier to
I just imagine someone. I imagine someone clipping and sending that to Jim, and him or her getting that offended about it right now. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, if I can make an enemy, I will.
I used to like their stuff. It just got a little too repetitive.
Isn't that the truth?
Oh.
Because actually, hold on. I'm trying to think about whether or not this person would want me to say this.
Don't give their name.
Fair. Just won't say their name. Somebody was talking to me about fucking, and I think I bring this person up in every single one of these, but they just infuriate me so. Lily Orchard. Okay. Again, I keep bringing this person up, but it's just.
I didn't bring him up. I want to state for the record, I didn't bring him up. It wasn't my fault.
That's it. Listen. Blame me.
Okay.
You can blame me entirely. It's fine. I'll take the
Lily, my Jewish co-host, totally had it at you. I dare you to say something.
If you're listening on the off chance you're listening to this, hi. My name's Burr.
No. Let me get to this really quick on this. I was interviewing a fucking animator on YouTube named fucking Cell Specs, and I brought along, I think it was Webcake, Golden Fox, and somebody else. And out of nowhere, Goldie just goes, "So Lily Orchard." I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you talking to an animator about this dipshit right now? Holy shit!"
It's pretty much, but there is a level of it is somewhat relevant. It is somewhat relevant.
All right, go ahead, take it.
I was talking to somebody and we were just talking about old drama. Just old Brony drama 5-6 years ago at this point.
Okay.
Because time is a fucking joke. And they just mentioned that and I was mentioning that because this was in the Dawn Somewhere server, I'll say that much.
All right.
And I was talking and I had said something to somebody and they were like, "Fuck you, Burr," and I was like, okay. And they're like, why does everyone not like you here? And I was like, well, it's a story. And I told them the whole thing, back to front. I don't.
Oh, is it because of me?
Well, yeah, but just because of the Ogden thing. So yeah.
Okay, but how did this loop back around to fucking Orchard?
Yeah. This loop back because they were like, I was just like, oh yeah, I was a big fan of FNGR, and eventually he was in the server, and we both were having trouble with this person, and they were like, wow, I hated that person because I'm a big fan of Lily Orchard, and I was like. What? And they said the exact same thing you said. And it's like, yeah, I used to be a big fan, but then the content just got too repetitive for me, and that's why. And that's why it's relevant.
I hate to break it. Yeah, let me clap back to that on that. I used to be on first name talking basis with fucking old Jerry. So bam, these nuts. Yeah,
That's what I told them. I was like, "Have you seen the? Have you seen the?"
I had them on
Limbo?
King of Limbo. Fuck off.
And they were like, "No," and I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, sure, yeah." Because I just remember,
It did good numbers.
yeah, I
Yeah,
remember seeing it, and I was like, "Wow."
it was Corpulent, Shelly D, me, and fucking the Looney Turtle.
Oh.
I went with fucking. I was like, I know we're gonna be talking about Viacom, and Looney's got his little piece in there to talk about how much time it takes to review each fucking piece of fucking content on YouTube, and I'm sure that'll come up.
Jeez. Yeah, I like how just after a while everyone stopped. It's not that everyone stopped giving a shit; it's just that everyone was complacent to their demise and that whole stuff. It's like they're
Well,
abusing the copyright system. We're gonna take them down, and then eventually it's just like, it's too much work.
well, I'm not saying Lily's fucking content is dead. I peeked over there. The fucking views seem like they're still doing what they're doing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I was just like, recounting a single anecdote that somebody said about their content being repetitive.
Yeah.
That's what that reminded me of, and I was like, you know what? I think they're a big Jim Sterling fan. Maybe they'd be happy to hear that comparison.
I think the last video I saw theirs that was like anything fucking even remotely interesting was their Kingdom Hearts videos. But then I've seen a couple of people who do fairly decent Kingdom Hearts videos. I'm not even a fan of that series, but I could sometimes. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, no. I haven't seen that video on it, and I don't want to. But
well, I have another. This is the fucking end. I forgot the damn YouTube channel, but he was a friend of Digibros. He was one of T-Bab's fucking members. At the end of his video for fucking Kingdom Hearts, he winds up making a remark, "Do you like shitty lore?" And he like clips in that fucking scene of like Homer being fed all the donuts, except it's supposed to be like lore being shoved down his fucking throat for all eternity.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, convoluted lore. I love my convoluted lore. One of my favorite fucking video game things is Call of Duty Zombies, which has the most just fucked up lore on the planet.
Friend, but the easy answer for me to clap back is I like Mortal Kombat lore. Doesn't get any, or Warrior Zoroarchi if you want convoluted fucking lore. Jesus.
Listen, the fact that there's been 3 timelines that we abandoned 9 through 11 because I don't know. I guess Ed Boon felt like that was what we needed to do.
They painted themselves into a wall with Armageddon.
Yeah, and then Midway exploded, and then and so many things.
Have you seen any of the fucking the chat AI like voice people have like redubbed in lines from Mortal Kombat?
Yes, I've seen some of the ones where they do the openings.
Yes.
Where, like,
yes.
Yes, I have seen some of that.
People have put way too much time and love into that. It's magnificent.
It's awesome. Listen, I'll say this much: I love Invincible, and I love J.K. Simmons. There's no way in hell I'm paying $30 fucking for a combat pack. You can $40, I think. Actually, you can fucking shove that.
Well, if you wait long enough, they'll just include it.
That's what I did for.
Yeah.
That's what I did for MK11, and I still love that game because I got to pay. Well, I think I got it on super sale, so it was like.
Oh yeah, no.
For everything.
I got that. Both MK games and both the Injustices were rolled into either $20 or $40 like combined in like some super pack, and I was like, I don't necessarily want these right now, but I can't look you dead in the eye and say, even if I just collect these, like this is too good.
Yeah, it was such a good because I was always like, I'm not a huge fan of 11. I played it once. My problem was I played it on Switch, so I didn't actually play the game. I played kind of a halfway, not even halfway decent version of it. It was like a fucking shit show on the Switch. It was awful. So I played that and I was like, oh man, this game kind of stinks. But then I saw that bundle and I was like, well, I mean, I'm really into Mortal Kombat X right now, so I might as well try 11. And I loved it. I had a great time.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that X at that one. They called it Mortal Kombat 1, which is so hard to say now because it's like, oh, Mortal Kombat 1, I think of the 92 version. But it's Mortal Kombat 1 in comparison to Tekken 3 and this new Street Fighter is dead. But I feel like it's going to get its resurgence. It's going to get its due diligence when those prices go down.
I liked the some of the things that they did. I was like, oh, they turned Baraka into a good guy. They did this with Reptile. They moved things around a little
Yeah,
bit.
Reptile's story is great. Reptile's the best he's ever been. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying, for whatever reason, may it be the fact that I know I'm not going to buy the combat pack or whatever, or maybe it's the fucking what is like the story mode? Not the story mode, but like the new thing they have. Oh god, what is it called?
Are
like
they charging?
Other gaming?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
are they charging for that?
I think they're starting to. I remember hearing something. That's the thing. That's how out of the loop I am. Even though I love Mortal Kombat, I just don't. For some reason, a reason even I can't explain, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'll level with you. You know what's keeping me in MK? The lore, but I can watch the YouTube videos for the lore.
Exactly. You can watch fucking.
I sit down, watch 2 to 3 hours, and then forget about it. Cool.
Yeah, you can watch like True Underdog talk about lore or something, or like a Fourth Snake video, or
no, I've seen Fourth Snake stuff.
He's too much. Listen, I think he's good at what he does. He's just too much of a kind of. Oh, the 3D era games were so good because I grew up with them. It's kind of like the same as people who really like Fallout New Vegas. They're like, oh, it's so great. What made it so great? Oh, because I remember playing it, and it's fuck you. It's just.
Well, there are plenty of. It's because they like it because it wasn't Bethesda necessarily.
That too, which also pisses me off because I like to say I like Bethesda is a bit of a. You see, if I say anything bad about Bethesda, Todd Howard will come into my house and murder me.
So I'm going to say something, but I'm going to apologize. I say this half jokingly. When you say you like Bethesda, it's like when someone goes, "Hey, that's my wife." Yeah, but I'm not hearing the part where I'm wrong.
You got it. But
you got it. Come on, we can't defend Todd that much. Yeah.
Listen, I like Fallout 4. It's a good game. I enjoy it. It's fun.
What about Fallout 76? And I've known someone who was willing to defend that one.
That person's not me.
No, I know. Good.
I think
I'm not gonna name them because I don't hate them. There's a certain bird that I have a certain amount of respect to. You know who you are, and I didn't mention you, so there you go.
You don't want them to get stoned in the streets.
Good times.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, I've heard from people who are like, "Oh, it's kind of a good game now. Now that all the bugs are gone." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take your word for it."
Yeah, was it like one man's lie?
It's like, you know what? You can keep thinking that, Bubby.
What does it go for now? What's the price?
I bought it because it was on sale for $6.
Oh,
on PlayStation. That's the only reason I own it.
Well, I was about to say you might have to go try it out for us then for $6.
Yeah, no, again, it was one of those things where it's like, well, if it's $6, I mean.
Yeah, I could buy it as a joke. Why not?
Yeah, it's the same reason. That's the only time I ever buy duplicate because I own a PS5 and a PC. The only time I ever buy duplicates, where it's like I have one game on console and one game on the PC, is if it's that low. Because I bought because yesterday I bought GTA 5 for the PC, even though I already had it on my.
Is this based off of like the Grand Theft Auto thing, where like you never know, they might remake it, make it shit.
I'd be so because I really like GTA 5, and if they ever give the fucking definitive edition treatment to that, I'm gonna.
I've been looking at fucking clips from fucking the one with fucking Nico Vitali. I didn't realize how much fucked up things are in there.
Oh yeah, 4 is a dark ass game. GTA 4 is a fucking nightmare.
There's this one dude who's fucking talking about like doing stuff to boys or something like that you eventually.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the video by oh god, I forget the number. It's by a guy named whatever 5710, I think.
Oh.
He does these GTA lore. They're kind of like lore videos, but he doesn't do any commentary.
Mm-hmm.
He just like shows the clips from the game and compiles them. Really good stuff. He does like all the possibilities for like the heists and stuff. It's if you're interested in any GTA stuff, that's where you should start.
Hmm.
And like just figuring that out. If you don't want to play the games, and they're huge time sinks.
So well, I did. Once upon a time ago, I did have fucking GTA 4. My PS3 kept resetting to the point where fucking even after I got it fixed, I was like, I'm not starting over again. No.
God, same thing, dude. My
I
little brother knocked it over, and since I was stupid when I got it and had my brother set up my account with a password I would never remember, all my shit was gone for like ever. And now I'm just like, well, guess I'm gonna restart. And now I've had to rebuy all those PlayStation games.
I'd actually argue that losing the fucking goddamn game versus losing the data is probably worse. Just if you've put too many hours in, we're like, nope, I'm not gonna play anymore. I don't want to start over.
I don't want to get stuck. It's so heavy right now.
It's too much time. Fuck that.
Yeah. God, it's always terrifying at the end of the year when I look at my the hours I spent on some games, and I'm like, oh no.
We don't talk about that.
where I'm like, how? I'm gonna be entirely honest. I have, you know what? I'm right at my computer. I can check real quick.
You know what? I've heard this line before. It's the most pretentious line ever. I'm entirely too proud of this thing. I'm entirely too proud to have only sank about 8 to 9 hours on fucking Diablo 4.
Yeah. You want to know how many hours I have on Gary's mod?
How many?
2,336.
Isn't that Gary's mod's just, like a fucking video editor thing in jig?
That's Source Filmmaker. Gmod is similar, but it's all you need to know is it's too many hours for what's essentially a Half-Life 2 mod. But it is fun to learn Source, kind of figure out Source without actually having to own the Hammer editor. You can learn a lot through Gmod Source, just because you can do literally almost anything.
I know it because of fucking what's his name, Ben Yatti's remark about where he said Gary's mod is you kind of have to find your own game in the game.
Yeah, that's what I've done, and I've been doing it for 7 years now.
You do what you do.
And that's it. Yeah, and it's fun, but sometimes I look at that number and I'm like, just a little bit, just like.
Well,
I don't regret it, but
I'll put it to you this way: it was you dick off time on it, or you didn't sacrifice anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it
wasn't like that time not spending Gmod was going to be spent fucking
curing cancer,
music
yes.
or anything. Yeah, I would have just been sitting outside looking at a tree probably if I wasn't doing that.
Contemplating a spot on the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a spot or a spider? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Knowing me, it would just be dicking off in another game if I had done that. If it wasn't Gmod, it'd be something else. Oh, this is another thing this happened quite a while ago, but I don't know if you've heard of it. This person was pretty much a Gmod YouTuber. Do you know the name Miss Breezy? Do you know about does that name ring any bells?
It might be why.
They were a big Gmod YouTuber and was also kind of halfway sorta in the Brony fandom a little bit. Their player model was a pony, but they never really acknowledged that fact. But they recently being relative, of course, to my old man brain, they deleted their whole channel after posting a thing about they worked for the YouTuber Meat Canyon.
Yes.
Yeah, they worked for his second channel, Papa Meat, and then they got fired, and they went onto their YouTube to complain about it, and they were like, he fired me for not making my deadlines and being on Xanax, and everybody in the comments was just like, yeah, that seems like fire-worthy material, sorry. But everybody was just like, I don't mean to be rude, but
yeah,
sounds like you kind of brought that on yourself.
Isn't Meat Canyon...
They deleted their whole channel.
Isn't Meat Canyon associated with, I'm trying to remember that one animator. The one who keeps doing all the Warhammer animations where they're killing furries.
I don't know the name.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, the same one that did the Harry Potter Dudblood thing, where all the Harry Potter fans are retarded. Flesh Kits!
Was this a Newgrounds animator?
Flesh Kits.
Yes, I know them. I do like them. Yes,
Is
I
is
know
Meat
them.
Canyon associated with them, or am I just putting that association there? I felt like they
I
were.
think he's done voice work for him. Yeah,
Okay.
because he's got an awesome voice. His voice is amazing, especially when he does like his deep thing. It's just
Oh,
it's
now
insane.
again, this is just might me be sympathetic, and he's like, "Oh, I'm being bullied by the Taylor Swift fans," and I'm like, "Tough dick, come on, suck it up,
Yeah,
cupcake, Jesus."
yeah. It's fucking.
You
I
need
mean,
you need to grow a tougher spine there, friend. Jesus.
if you can't handle having shit thrown at you by fucking Taylor Swift fans, I mean,
Ugh.
listen, I like the guy, but like,
And it's not like you didn't come out swinging. I saw what you did.
yeah, no. He entirely instigated it. Listen, hey, listen, man. I'm an Eagles fan, and I saw the last Super Bowl. I hate the Chiefs too. Listen, I despise the Chiefs, but I don't know. I don't know if this beef's worth it.
Jesus.
Oh God. Oh, I really do. I do hate the Chiefs, though. I really do.
It's too late to change the name of the title to that. I do hate the Chiefs.
Chiefs. Did you see? Did you see the Eagles lose in the Super Bowl last year?
I usually don't watch football.
Oh well, neither do I. But I'm an Eagles fan. So I did.
Look,
I
look,
did this one
look,
time.
look, guy. If your football team was called the Bears too, you wouldn't really watch football either.
Oh no. Yeah, you know what? I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
blame
have you know, Mongo McMichaels used to have a bar in my town. Not one over in my town. I remember
you.
my dad asked him about his pro wrestling background, and he didn't want to talk about it at all. But you know, if your wife ran off with Stone Cold Steve Austin, you probably wouldn't want to either. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean at that point you just be like fuck wrestling. I fucking hate wrestling. If Stone Cold Steve Austin stole my girlfriend, I'd be fucking pissed too.
She used to be really hot.
Anyway,
What?
back to what I was saying about the fucking the Eagles. I needed. I
What?
needed to
She
get
was
this thought
thoroughly
out
of age. What are you talking about?
No. I'm just saying if I lose this thought,
Okay,
I
yeah,
won't
go ahead,
get
go
it
ahead.
back. Is that it was a fine game. I remember having a particularly great time because Eminem and I think it was Eminem, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, and Dr. Dre for the halftime show, and I was like, this is perfect for someone like me, an old boomer. And I enjoyed that halftime show. I went to go get like a soda, and I come back and I'm just watching the Chiefs stall, and they stall, and they stall, and the next thing I know, the last quarter of the game, he's just moving, just kind of back and forth, not letting the game actually, be a game.
You make it
And it
sound
was the most.
you make it sound like the Chiefs play football like Floyd Mayweather boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It is.
that sounds like
And
that you're not talking me into want to watch football. I'll tell you that right now.
yeah, no, listen, I'm telling you, it was great because it's like, oh wow, they're neck and neck, but the Chiefs are just kind of up. I think the Eagles can pull it, and then the Chiefs were like, we're done playing. It might as well be the end of the game, and then it just kind of dwindles down, and then you just watch them, and then you watch them celebrate as if they did win the Super Bowl, but it's.
I could clap back. You're not going to like this answer, though. Well, if you don't like it, you could always watch the XFL. Oh, wait, you can't.
I was about to say, everybody gives me that answer. They're always like, "Well, that's just football. They won the game. What are you mad about?"
No, it was
Like,
that was another that was another Vince McMahonism. You could always watch the XFL. Oh, wait, you can't. Never mind.
But that's one of the things I get is like they're just like, "Well, that's just how the game's played." And I'm like, "But they didn't play the way I wanted them to play."
They didn't let my team win.
I'm going to be completely honest. I have enough. Listen, I hate them still, but I have enough.
Well,
self-reflection to
at
know
least
that
they didn't.
if it was against anybody except the Eagles, I probably
Let me
wouldn't be
let me
the
get let me
Falcons,
get lynched by my own state. Wait for it. All right.
but-
So
Okay.
it's not like this was the World Series and they progressively used like what was it 3 or 4 games, hi Cubs, to fuck away the World Series, hi Cubs. But anyways, I wasn't. Here's the funny thing about that: I wasn't even a baseball fan. I was in college. I was walking back to the dorm drunk, minding my own business. This is going to sound like bullshit. 3 girls abducted me to go watch the Cubs game. These girls were lifers. I vicariously enjoyed the game because of how much they were into it. And the one game where things fell apart, I'm like, oh, they've got like 2 or 3 games to turn around. Don't worry about it. I think I was around for one of them. That girl probably wanted to jump off her balcony when that went wrong. Like, that was her life. Holy shit. So when I say, let me fucking pick a fight here when I go. But I know that since then the Cubs have won the World Series, so it's probably not as big a deal.
I mean, where I am, you either have to be a fan. For baseball, it's better. The Braves are doing pretty well, but if you're fucking... I was born in Philly, so I have that at least going for me. But if I had to be a Falcons fan, I would kill myself.
Well, there's no super loser team that needs to still win the World Series, right?
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah. Red Sox, White Sox, Cubs, they've all won their fucking chance.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if the Falcons ever win the Super Bowl, Atlanta will go up in flames out of pure joy. I'm just waiting for it.
That sounds like a Chris Rock joke. I love this place so much I'm gonna burn it down.
Yeah. That's every single. That's like whenever we win against the Saints, which are like our rivals. That's
Shouldn't you go into their town to do that then? Not that you should do either, but by God.
Yeah, I love the idea of seeing just a bunch of people like crowding into like a Ford and going to Louisiana to burn down New Orleans after.
Why did everybody turn into a bunch of Warhammer orcs? Oi, mate, we won. Let's go crump the locals.
That's it. Let's take our conquest.
Jesus.
Oh.
All right, I think we've gone long enough. We'll hit stop now, folks.
Yeah, I was about to say I need to go pick up my prescriptions for my parents.
All right, guys.